Hello, Packers fans. JR Radcliffe again, joined by Tom Silverstein. We are here at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. It is Wednesday, day 2, I guess, in earnest of our coverage here at PackersNews.com. Today was about meeting some of the players. We saw some edge rushers, defensive linemen. We saw some linebackers. There's some positions where you think the Packers might be interested. I know you wrote a little bit about that at PackersNews.com. Give me a sense of these groups, how deep you think they are, and if you think, how involved do you think the Packers are going to be with these guys?
Well, I was sort of focusing on the inside linebackers because, sort of a hallmark of the Jeff Hafley defense, the 49ers defense, really goes all the way back to Seattle and the Legion of Boom. They've all had a pair of really good athletic linebackers in the middle. So, the Packers have Quay Walker, and he fits what they do. But they don't really have that second dynamic type of playmaker. And there's not a lot of guys here who are going to go early in the draft. It's just not a position that is really sought after that much. But you don't have to go to the early rounds. A guy like Fred Warner was a 4th-round pick, and Dre Greenlaw was a 3rd-round pick. And I think that's the type of guys they're going to be looking for, some really athletic guys. They won't be that big necessarily, 230, maybe. It's going to be a little bit of a change from the way the Packers have been playing in the past.
Yeah, we heard today from Edgerrin Cooper. He's a guy that might fit what the Packers are doing.
Athletic.
Right,
Yes,
and
yes.
especially maybe as one of those second-round picks if he falls that far. I don't know if he will, but there's one name to follow. A name I'm interested in following, and we were both there, is Payton Wilson. He's the Butkus Award winner for the best linebacker in college football, plays for NC State. His brother, pitcher Bryce Wilson, pitches for the Milwaukee Brewers, but he's a very good athlete in his own right. Great sound linebacker. What are your thoughts about him? Do you have anything specific about him that might fit for Green Bay?
Yeah, well, he's an do-it-all linebacker. So he's not a guy you would pigeonhole into one position, and I think that's the kind of guy Brian Gutekunst likes. He is athletic. He was sort of the captain of the defense, ran the whole thing. The only question with him is some injury history. He had a torn ACL, I think, in high school. Then he had a shoulder problem. So he'll get looked at up and down. But, he said, like you talked about, he's got a wrestling background. So, those guys are usually pretty tough. So, I would think that that's a guy that they'll take a look at for sure.
Yeah, I think versatility will be a little bit of a buzzword tomorrow. We're going to see some secondary guys, some safeties in particular, defensive backs. I'm still hung up on safety. I know a lot of people are. I still, like Cameron Kitchens and Tyler Nubin, those are guys we're going to hear from tomorrow. I feel like one of those guys could fit even at the end of the first round or definitely in the second. As you look ahead to what we're doing tomorrow, anybody jump out at you? We're going to hear from the secondary guys, some tight ends. We know the Packers are pretty set there. Anybody else that you're particularly interested in hearing from?
Safety is a really, really important position. There's not a lot of really great natural safeties in this class, and Packers have done pretty well drafting safeties in the second round. Darren Sharper and Nick Collins, and they've been able to get some guys. Leroy Butler was a second round pick. So, Nubin is a guy be interesting to talk to. Cooper DeJean is another guy that will be interesting to see how many teams have talked to him about playing safety versus corner, whether he can play the slot. But, he's another one of those. He kind of reminds me of Micah Hyde. He's sort of that type of player.
Sure. Same college and everything?
Yeah, same college and everything. And I know lots of people in the Packers personnel department really liked Micah Hyde. So, that's a guy to definitely we'll keep an eye on tomorrow.
One guy I'm going to keep an eye on, Maema Njongmeta from the Wisconsin Badgers. He's not going to be a first or second round guy, but even getting to the combine was a big deal. And you do get to hear some of those stories too. You know, you get the main guys, they're on the podiums behind us, and then there's these other tables for guys who are still going to get drafted or play in the NFL, but they've got kind of, you know, they kind of are a little bit further down in terms of visibility. Maema Njongmeta, he lost a lot of playing time in his senior season. The new coaching staff came in, Luke Fickell, and new defensive coaches. At Wisconsin, he saw his playing time decrease dramatically between his junior and senior season. He was really poised kind of to have a breakout, you know, be the leader of the team in the senior year. Didn't get to play as much. He fell down the linebacker depth chart. They had a couple guys inside that they were starting ahead of him. But he's here. He's still got the combine invite, which I was surprised by. And
I mean, we were talking about that up in the press room. It's like, how do you get invited to the combine, but, you know, you're not good enough to start on your own team? And boy, that's going to be a bad look for the Badgers if he winds up becoming a really good player in the NFL. You know, just an interesting guy. He fits another one of those linebacker types who can run. You know, not overly big, but that's kind of what teams are looking for now. Guys who can drop into zone and then just, you know, charge into the ball, towards the ball. And so, obviously, the people who do the combine know, you know, most of the guys who go here get drafted. So that was quite interesting to see him here.
Yeah, like you said, he was very grateful. One of 321 players who've been invited to Indianapolis, and people like what he can do, and he'll certainly get a shot. A lot of those evaluations get underway on Thursday, but
I love what he said about how he got the combine invitation. You know, he just was it an email?
Just an email.
He said, he got an email, opened it up. Oh, I'm going to the combine. You know, like I don't think he expected that at all. No. And then went back to his workout. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I am rooting for him. There was a guy from Missouri, Darius Robinson, who was a very, very, very fun interview. There's some pretty great characters that you get to meet through this process, and we'll be meeting a lot more tomorrow and the next day, and we'll, of course, be providing full coverage at PackersNews.com. You can find stories by me, by Tom Silverstein, about some of the things we just discussed. We'll be here for the next few days. You can catch us again in video format here on YouTube or at PackersNews.com each of the next 2 days. Thank you, Tom. We'll chat again tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Bye, everybody.